Welcome to Tales from Behind the Veil. I'm Patrice Catan, and I'm an expert in the fashion, bridal, and event planning industry for over 40 years.
And I'm Leah Haslage, Patrice's producer and sidekick. On this episode, we're at the National Bridal Market in Chicago to discuss the latest bridal trends with Sarah Rogers, owner of Only Way Occasion, and Susie, the director of sales for Demetrios.
Hi again from Market in Chicago. Today is Monday. And of course, I've been running the floor, finding people to interview that are unique in the industry. Well, I found her. Sarah from the UK owns, Only Way. And when you see her line of bridesmaid dresses, it is the only way to go.
That's so sweet.
Hi, Sarah. How
Hello.
are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Well, give us a little bit of background, how you started, how you got where you got, and your method of thinking for the bridal business.
Okay, so we started about 7 years ago, just after my son was born. I was working for a company, and I just had an overwhelming sense of when I was looking at the bridesmaid market, that I could do it and get something out there that's different and unique. And there's nobody that was actually, not many brands manufacturing and selling to the trade. So that's where we started, and yeah, did it while I was working full time and built up enough stockists to a point where I could say, do you know what, I'm gonna go out by myself and do it, and that's what I did.
Well, I think you got as much nerve as I had years and years ago when I decided to go from the craft industry to bridal. And it is exuberating when you go into a new market and you already have a feeling of what the necessity is from the research. Mind I tell you that this girl I found at Market today, and she's unique, and I think if we come back to talk many years later, she will be one of the #1 in business.
Oh, stop.
What she's doing is designed well. The color palette is beautiful. The fabric is elegant. And they're made to fit. Correct?
Yeah.
Give us a little background.
Yeah, so because we do the manufacturing in-house, we try and keep our sizes to a one size, so a US size 6 to an 18. But if there are any girls out there, we understand that there are so many different shapes and sizes that we will actually just make to measure at no extra cost. So the stores will just send us a waist measurement and we'll say, no problem, we'll make it.
Imagine that, no extra cost. A word or sentence that's never heard.
Yeah.
This girl is okay.
It's just being inclusive, and women are all different shapes and sizes, and they shouldn't be penalized for being smaller or larger. So it's the same amount of work that goes into making it, regardless of the size. So we don't believe that it should be penalized.
I agree. I think that it's very necessary today to have an affordable gown for the bridesmaids. At the time of bridesmaids' life, usually, money is very important.
Yeah.
And they want something that maybe they can wear again in some capacity, but something that is very affordable, that isn't going to break the bank. Mm-hmm. And here, she created the Only Way.
Yeah.
It's a unique way, and named because you're talking about something that you decided that this type of fabric and this method of designing is a unique way to capture the marketplace at an affordable price, especially in this day and age. Also, the creativity. Let me pick this up a minute, Sarah. Tell us a little bit about the fabric.
So this fabric is actually milled in the UK as well. It's milled about 2 hours away from where we're based. We do it in 42 different colours.
42!
It's a soft jersey with a 4-way stretch. And in this particular skirt, there's over 7 meters of fabric. So again, there's no pleats on the waist, so it just falls really nicely regardless of your shape or your size. Whether you're pregnant or you've just had a baby or whatever, it will be really flattering regardless.
So this is a very unique concept. You know, Bridesmaids is a very tough business. Either it doesn't look good on them, or they don't have the right color. When you have that amount of colors, you can't miss. When you have this type of styling, this is good on anybody's body style. And it gives a gorgeous draping effect that the girls love, but yet hides any amenities on anybody. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there are other multi-ways on the market, but like the heaviness of our fabric means that you're not going to have the see-throughness, and because there's so much there that it will, like you say, it will just drape. And you know, the other ones out on the market, that you can't compare them really, because
this is absolutely gorgeous and one of my best finds at market. You know, I come to market for finds.
Yeah.
Good finds, and there's a lot of good finds here, and there's a lot of old finds that are still great. But once in a while, you really find something unique that somebody took and went one step further to create this look that really is intelligent, design-wise, brilliant, and very affordable. This makes the footsteps for a fantastic business.
Well, thank you so much.
Good luck, and please keep in contact with us. Well, everybody, I have a special guest today to talk to. One of the most famous bridal designers in the United States and in Europe is Demetrius. And Susie is here with us. She is the head of sales, where we go, for Demetrius. Well, Susie, let's talk a little bit. Let's talk about how many years we know each other, how we got to know each other, and really what we know about the institution called bridal fashion.
Well, we've both been here a very long time. I've known Patrice for over 30 years, correct, Patrice?
Yes, it shows my age.
So, I had come to your store. We did a trunk show.
That's correct.
Do you remember?
Yes, we did.
The store was unbelievable. The most beautiful store I had been to. It was like a city within a store.
Yeah, so you came to the store, we did a trunk show. I saw you the first time at market.
We met at the market.
Now, let me think back. Who was there? Joan.
Joan. It was Joan.
Joan would not let me in the door.
Why would she?
Do you remember that?
Because you couldn't buy? She wouldn't let you in the door?
Because she didn't know who I was.
Who you were?
Because I was nobody. And I was very well known in the craft industry, but I sure wasn't known in bridal. So back in those days, in the early 80s, everything was stricter as far as buying policies, who they sold you.
Yes.
So I respected that. Once she got to know me, it's like the other people I went to, I said, you don't understand. I'm going to build a bridal salon. I'm hoping it's very large, and I'd like to do your product because I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Yes.
And I forced my way in and got in it with her, which was nothing unusual.
And became one of our top selling stores. It was the best decision we made. She did phenomenal with us. She ran some operation. I remember all your employees, how you treated your employees, how they sold. I remember how many brides came in for your trunk show.
Oh, absolutely.
The service you gave them, just one of the top in.
You know, you brought up a good reason why I'm doing podcasting today. I feel that education in the salon owners world is very important, more so today than before. to be educate your consultants to be able to know what to say and what to do when they're selling a wedding gown or any garment in the store. This makes a huge difference because the buyers, when they come to market to the design houses, will have a better focus on what they need. A lot of people, my producer asked me today, we were watching a fashion show, and she had a very good question. When you go buying, how do you pick what you need?
Well, your consultants will be the first ones to tell you because they work with these brides.
Exactly.
They build a relationship with the brides. They know what
they're looking for. Right.
What you'll be missing, what you need to fill in.
Right.
Right. Because they work with the bride. And I remember back then saying the relationship that they had with the brides, and they knew the product, and they knew exactly where to go, and obviously,
right.
That's how when you came, you knew exactly because the consultants in the store are everything.
That's correct. And also I think in my particular case, I was trained to have hands-on at all times. And it's very important for an owner to be present because she really needs to know the pulse of the market, or if it's a man, we need to know the pulse of the market. We need to know what the clients are saying, what their needs are, what their accessories are, everything in one package. She will agree with me, Susie, but your fashion world came from Europe.
Yes.
Demetrius was European. That's where fashion really began. It doesn't begin in the United States. It begins in Milan. It's in Europe. And this is where they funnel the ideas from the European designers into the United States. It's not vice versa. So usually when Europe starts a trend, in 2 years, the trend will be in the U.S.
It takes a while.
Am I correct?
Yes.
Now, what would you think, what is your insight on your trends today?
Our trends today, well, I see that a lot of girls are asking us again for simple dresses have come back, but in a different way. It has to have a certain, beautiful fabrics, the construction. So they're definitely asking for simple dresses. I find there are a lot of different trends though, because as you know, the stores will come and ask we have different types of brides with different personalities and different looks. Every season, a new trend comes in.
Correct.
This season, I find a lot of people are asking for the simple gowns. The beading is still in. We have the girls that want the princess. I found for a long time the princess, the ball gowns are back in. The
ball gowns are back.
Ball gowns are the
and I'm thrilled.
Ball gowns are very back.
Beautiful gowns. The Grace Kelly look.
Definitely. We saw some high necks coming back.
Correct.
With the laces, a lot. I see a lot of the beaded laces, but some of the unbeaded laces that are coming back. Some of the chantillies. So, but every season you'll see different trends coming.
And don't you feel too, Susie, that if you look at all the trends over the years, they come from way back and move forward?
You know what? You see the trends come back, but in different ways.
In different ways.
I see the ruching, the wraps coming back. Where they were big, years ago, they stopped. Now they're coming back in a different way, but they're all coming back.
Remember the pickup dresses?
The pickup.
Everybody wanted a pickup dress.
The pickup. Then that, went out.
That went out.
We had all the pickups. We had that, but it'll come back. It all comes. I see too. They want soft gowns, A-lines. And so you get the girls that want the ball gowns, you do, but you get the ones that want it to be soft and flowy, the simple. So I see a trend this year, like I said, a lot of simple, a lot of flowy, A-line, but next season there'll be something.
And usually it's from the past.
And yes, they come back.
It makes it very exciting every year. The trends, and I'm sure Susie will agree with me, the trends don't always stick very long, especially if they're bizarre.
Yes.
If they're bizarre, trends, they'll stick for one season.
Correct.
Some things never end. The see-through bustier
The
tops.
bustier,
Yeah.
the corset, the see-through, the bustier,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that's going to last about 3 minutes or less, I hope. Because it's not, what's the word you would use? I wouldn't use a good word.
Well, you know what it is? It's not something classic that a bride will look back and say, it's that classic look. You might look back and say, I wore something very different. It's not as classic, I think, as some. I think it's a look that it's not dresses that you will sell more of. I think when stores come in, they look at dresses that I find. How many brides will I sell that to?
That's correct.
How many brides are
Yes.
actually, so that they take that into consideration.
So you really have to have a piece on your rack, but we consider it an add-on because
Correct.
it's usually not our bread and butter gowns.
No, right. You get 1 or 2 pieces because it's the trend.
That's
you don't
right.
go overboard. So you want to have it because it's something that they're looking for.
Right.
But you don't go too much because that trend will change. Although the sheer bodices I see have stuck. A little bit of a sheer.
Well, a little bit more.
a little bit.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I can even cope with that.
Yes, a little bit.
But
of sheer.
again, it's a matter of design
Yes.
and fashion and what a girl feels good in. So who am I to say?
Yeah.
We're in this business to make a bride happy, whether you are head of sales or whether you are a salon owner. We are here to make the bride and the bride's entourage happy.
In the end, it's all about the bride.
And it's all about the bride and what we can complete to give her a beautiful look. I always say it's like doing a watercolored picture.
Yes.
Okay? You start with the bride, and the bride is the focal point, and then everything color-wise moves down the line so everything is interconnected. Because when you create something like that, you have to create a picture that when you look at it, you see the whole thing. You don't see pieces, parts. If you see pieces, parts,
Right.
you've not made the transition from the bride to the maids to the mothers to
Correct.
the children in a correct manner. All has to tie in.
Right, it's like you said, it starts with the bride, and the bride's personality has a lot to do
The
with.
personality does a lot. No, I don't
Personality.
want to wear a veil.
Correct.
No, I don't want a headpiece. No, what do you want?
Right.
Okay, you are a bride. You'll never do this again, maybe. And maybe you will.
Right.
And in today's society, today could be 2-3 times. I don't know. But that makes business good. But by the same token, you're a bride. Why don't you want a veil and a headpiece?
Right.
And I'm sure I have 6 granddaughters. I can just see it in my head now. Somebody's going to tell me they don't want a headpiece and a veil. And guess what my answer will be? Okay, that's
Right.
what you want, do it.
But I must say that I have found, even when I go to the trunk shows, brides go in with a certain vision.
Yes.
With they know what they want and they stick to it. And I always say, keep an open mind.
That's
Try
right.
something else on. Try a different silhouette on. And many times you'll see that a bride goes in envisioning something and walking away with something totally different.
Totally different.
So, they have to keep an open mind. And then after that, then all the bridesmaids and everybody can make their decisions.
Yes, and then it's chaos from that
And then it's
point
chaos
on.
from that point.
But we tried very hard.
Yes.
You in the sales department,
Yes.
Demetrius designing. If you look him up, everybody, you will find out he's one of the most renowned designers in Europe and the United States. What would your opinion be today about the amount of education with the stylists in the salons? My personal feeling, and this is why I'm doing the podcasting, is I am very aware of the fact that the education level is on the low side.
On the low side.
Do you find that also?
Yes, I think it's extremely important for the sales consultants to know the product, to know everything about it, the product that they're selling. when a bride comes in, when you look at her, know what you feel will look good on her, what silhouette will look, but be very subtle with how you tell her, according to, if it's a curvier bride, it's a, just give her advice.
Right.
Don't be too pushy. Give advice. And then if you see that she's having a hard time, pull something, perhaps you should put this on, perhaps you should try this, but in a nice, subtle way. Give your opinion, but allow her to feel comfortable in what she...
Well, that is really good advice, and you really are hitting the bullseye
Yes.
on exactly what I'm doing here.
Yes.
I feel, and this is no direct insult to anybody that is in the industry, but I feel you need the veterans to speak.
Yes.
The veterans like Susie and I and many other people here that have been in it 40 years, 30 years, whatever. We're the people that built the industry technically in fashion from the bottom up. Because when we first got into bridal, there was mainly couture. There was not a lot of other manufacturers. So coming up the chain, we learned to understand what was going on and the education in everything that's got to do with the gown.
Yes.
And the accessories that go with it. I think today we're missing it. We're missing it because a lack of employees in the world today, and also a lot of people that unfortunately hire people and put them right on the floor.
Right.
You cannot do this. They have to at least have 6 months training under your belt. And it should be the most educated consultant that is training them, if not the owner.
Absolutely, because it's the most emotional buy.
That's correct.
The most emotional buy for a woman, for a bride, It's very emotional. So they have to know how to speak. The consultants really have to be educated in many ways, not only in what to call and what to show, but how to speak with these brides.
That's correct. You almost have to be a psychiatrist.
Yes.
Because you have to go into this where their opinion matters, but
Yes.
then your education is going to show them what they can do better,
Absolutely.
but subtly.
Subtly.
And that's the way you perform constantly. So this gives a little side view with somebody as educated and as long in the industry as I have been, that we've seen it from both sides of the spectrum. And education all around is not the number one thing today. And everybody has a different opinion on it.
Yes.
And my opinion is, when you're in the trenches, you are the one that knows what to know. You can't, it just doesn't happen.
Right.
Okay? It doesn't happen overnight. You have to feel it, and you have to go through it to know, well, we have to adjust this. We have to adjust the way we handle this. Or this gown, yes, we can work with it, but next time don't order that style.
Correct.
So there's a multitude of things, and it also happens on the designer scale because they have to be intuitive on what the client is asking for.
Correct. What's missing, what we know we don't have, what we need to add, what we shouldn't
Right.
on the collection again next time.
And in other words, too, the advice from the salespeople on which direction to go in buying and not to overbuy or underbuy. Either way can be a problem, and it's a very hard balance to know where to go to stop
Yes.
or start. You really don't know. It takes years of experience. I made hundreds of mistakes in buying because I thought, yes, I needed this, and this, but I only needed 3 of the 5.
You know what it is, right? Where the quality of what you have in the store many times is more important than the quantity of what
That's
you have
correct.
in the store.
It's
What dresses you have, that you have the right dresses, at least for the brides that you have, that you you know your bride, you know what they're looking for, your consultants know. And, as we know, every territory is different.
Right.
I see that the South has, different trends.
Correct.
The Northeast has different trends, the West Coast maybe. So, you know your area, you know what you need. So I think that it's important that you buy right and buy not necessarily so much, but buy right.
Buy right.
Buy right.
Buy right and train right.
And train right.
Well, Susie, thank you very much.
Thank you so
I
much.
so
It was a
appreciate
pleasure.
you coming with me
It's a
today.
pleasure.
This has been a production of Evergreen Podcasts. A special thank you to the staff at National Bridal Market in Chicago, senior producer Leah Haslage, that's me, and Dave Douglas and Kay Holmberg for audio and video production.